Welcome back. Will Worsham joins us now for this week's Speaking Legal discussion. Always good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Are you ready for the question?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. I've been going through some tough times, and some friends and family have loaned me money. If I file bankruptcy, will I still be able to pay them back?
Yeah, great question. Because that's where a lot of people find themselves is, they don't want to file bankruptcy.
Right.
They want to pay their bills. They want to honor all their creditors. And so they say, hey, can you help me out?
So many times we go to family and friends in
Yeah,
that kind of
absolutely.
situation.
But then you find out, hey, that doesn't work. And you end up having to file bankruptcy because you just couldn't get it put together. And you're stuck. And a lot of people, frankly, it's not even friends and family, but a lot of people that file bankruptcy really would like to pay all their debts anyway.
Sure.
They don't want to just leave anybody hanging.
Well, you don't want that hanging over your head either for the rest of your life.
Right. So, well, which actually is what bankruptcy takes care of. It doesn't hang over your head, but still
there's that,
legally.
yeah,
And then what I want to do personally. Well, here's the thing. The short answer is yes, you're still going to be able to pay those people back, but you've got to do it in the right way.
Okay.
The bankruptcy code has what's called preferential transfers. And so you're not allowed to treat one creditor differently than you treat your other creditors once you go into bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. And that goes across the board. Doesn't matter if it's friends and family, doesn't matter if it's MasterCard or Visa or the bank. You have to treat your creditors equally, and there's actually a look-back period. So the problem that people get themselves into is, let's say, I've got my last $3,000, and I'm gonna pay back my friend Fred because he helped me out here, and then file bankruptcy. Okay? It seems like maybe that's an okay thing to do.
It's not.
It's not. What's going to happen is you're going to end up in a meeting of creditors, and they're going to have the right to ask you questions, and so is the bankruptcy trustee that we've talked about. And one of those questions is going to be, have you transferred any amounts of money to anybody within the past 6 months? Mm-hmm. And if you have, the bankruptcy trustee has an absolute right to go to that party and say, you need to give me that money back. So you actually can put your friend or family in a real bind if they have then spent that money or used it for some other purposes, and then they don't have the cash. The bankruptcy trustee can actually bring a lawsuit against them and compel them, get a judgment against them to return that money.
So this sounds like something that you need to discuss with your friends or family. This is how I'll be able to pay it back. I don't want to be a deadbeat or anything. Right. But so often when we borrow from friends or family, it's just like you borrow it. You better tell people you borrowed that money if you're filing for bankruptcy.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. When you file for bankruptcy, you have to list all of your creditors. And even though it's going to be awkward and you don't want to, you really need to list all those friends and family. And maybe you didn't want them to know you were filing bankruptcy. So that can be awkward. It's going to be awkward because they're going to get a notice that they've been listed as a creditor on a bankruptcy petition, which doesn't hurt them at all. It's not bad for them, but maybe you just didn't want that to happen. And then their debt is going to be officially legally discharged in that bankruptcy along with all of your other debt.
Right.
That doesn't mean you can't pay them back later. Okay. But you're going to have to wait until you've gone through the bankruptcy's over, and then you can pay them back. And quite frankly, you're probably going to be in a better position to be able to pay them back at that point anyway, since all your other debts are going to be discharged.
Does this speak to the idea of maybe you should have spoken to an attorney in the first place?
Well, yeah, and it's very difficult, in my opinion, to file for bankruptcy without an attorney. There's a lot of forms that have to be filled out. They have to be filled out correctly. There's lots of time.
Well, you can't do the $100 bankruptcy thing that you can find anywhere on the internet?
Well, I would assume that there's probably a lawyer somewhere backing something of that up. But and there's time standards that have to be complied with. You have to go to certain classes, and if you don't get them done in time, they can expire. So an experienced bankruptcy attorney can really walk you through that process and exactly what you need to do to get that done.
And a good attorney can also tell you, no, this is not the right thing to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing about going to an attorney sooner than later. You could ask the attorney that question, hey, is it okay if I pay mom back before I file bankruptcy? And the answer is going to be probably not, because we need to make sure we don't get mom sued.
Let's keep mom safe, too.
Yeah, exactly.
People want more information, have questions for you. How do they get in touch?
They can always email us here at the station, wworsham@color10.com, or go to our website, www.willworshamlaw.com.
All right, Will, thanks again. Always good to see you. We'll be right back after this.
Eric Greitens' pals are lying about honest Marine and businessman John Bruner. That's because Greitens can't explain his pro-gay marriage and pro-amnesty views or applauding Barack Obama at the Democratic convention. And Greitens praised Obama's